What's up, family? This is Knowte with Elevated Wellness presented by Stellar Connect. I am incredibly happy to start a project like this. Elevated Wellness is all about destigmatizing the mental health conversation in the entertainment industry. And with us today, to me, is the epitome and the perfect person to kick off this conversation because they represent everything that this podcast needs to be, which is authenticity, realness, and being yourself unapologetically and unwavering at all times. So I'm incredibly happy to present Camille, aka Offbeat Look.
Hi, my name is Camille and I'm here with Elevated Wellness, and one piece of advice I have for everyone is to learn how to embrace your authentic self no matter how long it takes, because it will change your life, and we're going to touch on that today.
I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got an extremely busy schedule, hopping around, all that sort of stuff, going from an event to event. We were talking the other day, and you got like 1,000,001 things and stories that, like, we had a yap session for like 12 hours.
Yeah, it was a good, healthy yap session.
But it was fantastic. And obviously, I know you. I got to know you a couple years ago at an event we met at. I always forget the studio's name, but whatever it was, I just felt a radiance of authenticity from you. Most people, when they step into those spaces, can really believe their own hype a lot and kind of stand off. Like, you know how it is in New York platforms, like people get an X amount of followers and they like don't want to have conversations. But you walked up to everyone. You walked up to me, and then I went home. I'm like, what? Like, she talked to me?
You had cool hair. I had to.
Thank you. But obviously, like, it took a whole story to get there. And before we get into any specifics about what I would love to talk to you about today, I would want to kind of have the audience hear from you how you got started. Looking back, it appears though you got started around 2014, but I know your story dates way back further, because to get to here, this is who you are. This is how you've always been. So I would love to hear about that, your origin story.
So my story actually starts in 2010 when I was fresh out of middle school, and I really wanted to be a YouTuber. My sister showed me these girls on YouTube that did makeup and beauty and like all of this stuff, and I was like, that's so cool. I was just getting into makeup myself, mostly like blue mascara kind of thing, just like fun, silly things, and I was like, I would love to learn more. So I started binging these videos, and I followed every single beauty blogger, and I was like, you know what? I could do this. Like, this looks like fun. And there were some girls who were like my age, and they were just like normal girls. And I was like, I'm a normal girl. I could do that too. So I asked my parents if I could start a YouTube channel, and they said no. So I started one anyways. And it was really fun. It was weird to film like only when they were not there. And then edit when they went to bed. But it was really fun. And that's what the first like 5 years were. It was just about like having fun.
So like, was 5 years like in secret this whole time? Or like, were they aware? Like, did they end up stumbling upon your videos just like, Camille? Like, how did that go?
Eventually, I think I told them maybe like a year or two in. And I didn't get in trouble for some reason. I don't know why. But it was definitely like a online is dangerous kind of thing for children.
Well, especially back then, like there were so many like non-regulations about the internet. Like, you could see anything, which we won't go into that, but I can understand your parents, like, hesitation with having you do that.
I definitely see it now, but like looking back, I just wanted to be a YouTuber. But eventually I made videos for about 5 years before anyone watched them, really. So it was commitment. Yeah, it was really like for me, and then like documentation purposes, because I was like, what if I do a really cool makeup look and I don't know what colors I use, or like I can't remember what foundation I like color I am.
Absolutely.
So I thought it would be cool for me to look back at stuff. And then eventually I started dyeing my hair. And that's where it took off. So I looked online for how to dye curly hair. There was nothing. I looked on YouTube, there was nothing.
I won't lie, when I first started getting to dyeing my hair and wanted to do my hair, I didn't see much out there myself. So,
Yeah.
like, how old were you when you noticed that sort of scenario? Because, like, to have the eyes to be like, okay, I'm noticing a vacancy in the market,
Hmm.
like, that's an entrepreneurial skill. So, like, how old are you when you noticed that gap?
I was a sophomore in high
Wow.
school, I believe. So
Wow.
that was like 12 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
it was so weird. There was just nothing. It was like
Mhm,
straight hair only.
mhm,
And I went to the forums, I
mhm.
went to like Google, YouTube, like everywhere
You
you'd
really
expect to
researched,
find it.
yeah.
Yeah, but there was just nothing.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, okay, like let me just do what they're doing on straight hair,
Uh-huh.
but like see if I can alter it a little
Yeah.
bit. So I dyed my hair.
Mhm.
It was not great, but I
Start
documented it.
somewhere.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I rewatched the video and I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I could change that.
Okay.
And so I would like tweak something and then do it again and record
Mhm.
everything. And it got slowly better and
Yeah.
better and better
Mhm.
until I got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm actually like good at this.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of curly people
Mhm.
would comment like, this is the only video I've found how to dye
Wow.
curly hair. And like, thank you for making this.
Wow.
And it was just like, it was crazy that there was nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what really kind of gave me purpose, I
Mhm.
feel like, because that was the first time my videos really helped people
Yeah.
and it helped them be their most authentic self
Yeah.
and embrace their hair and embrace their curls. Because
Yeah.
back then, curls were also like, people would fight their curls rather than embrace it.
So I not to make it about me for a second, but like I can relate to that story a ton.
Yeah.
I actually grew up in a predominantly white space,
Mhm.
so I remember going to school and feeling like I needed to tame down my own curls, my
Yeah.
own sense of culture and stuff like that. So kudos to you for empowering the community and being a trailblazer like that.
Thank you.
One of my questions is though, which I'm sure that was the primary motivation, but how does one keep their motivation to keep going? Because you said you posted for 5 years at a
Yeah.
very young age to almost like nothing for a little bit, right? You know, until
Yeah.
eventually it took off. I remember I put my first song on like SoundCloud or something. I got like 2 plays and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. You know, and that was after like a month. So you
Yeah.
stayed committed for 5 years at a
Yeah.
very young and formidable age. How did you, I guess, navigate that and want to keep continuing, you know, to see this through?
Yeah, I think at the end of the 5 years, I had about 4,000 subscribers. So it took 5 years to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
But I think one thing is that I was just really passionate about it
Beautiful.
and it felt good. And
Mm-hmm.
I loved having a finished product that I could
Mm-hmm.
just like put online and
Mm-hmm.
just like, this is my work. And
Yes.
I feel like I did a good job. And then the
Yes.
next time I upgrade my lighting
Mm-hmm.
and then upgrade my camera
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning new skills that are really like fun
Mm-hmm.
and useful
Mm-hmm.
for real life. And I think besides the passion and fun, I
Mm-hmm.
also a few years in realized that it was a really good avenue to open up other opportunities in the
Okay.
future. So I would
Right.
see like YouTubers would write a book or
Okay.
they would work with a brand
Okay.
or they would like start their own line of something.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, that's really cool because it all came from starting a YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel. So maybe in the future this will lead to other opportunities.
Yes.
So between the two of those, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this
Yeah.
weekly videos.
Yeah.
I don't know how I posted weekly
Yeah.
long form, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I would edit till like 5 in the morning.
You were going to school during that whole time, I'm sure. 'Cause you said
Yeah.
high school is when it started.
Yeah.
Did you end up going to like any like schooling after that, like college or anything, or has like this route always been your route?
I think deep down,
Mhm.
I always wanted to be a YouTuber.
Okay.
And when I went to college, I was majoring in film,
Okay.
but I didn't actually want to make films. I
Okay.
just wanted to make YouTube videos.
Okay,
It was
so
just
this was
like the
like an
closest.
avenue, yeah. So
Yeah.
did your school have one of those things where there was like an editing, room? So did you
Yeah.
use some of their software to like?
No.
No.
Even in high school, like I was in the TV productions
Okay.
class and they did they had the what's the Mac one? Final Cut?
I think Final Cut.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So they used Final Cut, but I was always like Adobe Premiere. So I would bring my laptop to school so I didn't have to use Final Cut.
Yeah.
And just like throughout college too, they used like Avid.
Oh yes, yes.
So I didn't want to learn a new one. I was comfortable with that, and like it links to other apps that you can use together.
Like
so,
Adobe,
yeah,
Adobe Suite, right?
Yeah. So I just kind of like have stayed with that forever. Except for Windows Movie Maker.
Okay.
That was the first thing I started on, but that's like terrible software. It was free though.
Oh yeah.
And that's all that I had.
Yeah, no, you got to work with the resources you have, especially when like you're a broke college student. Like,
Yeah.
I question that I definitely have as somebody who's also pursuing and all those sort of things. Staying up that late, it takes a toll, right?
Yeah.
Try to keep the momentum, going. One of the questions I have was, as you're staying up, like, was there a moment or video early on that like made you say, okay, I think this is going to start to work? Because like you said, 4,000 subscribers 5 years in.
Yeah.
To me, that's huge. A lot of people can't even get past the 100 mark, So to get to 4,000 subscribers 5 years in is incredible. Was there like, what video early on? It didn't have to be the one that caught the most views, but was there a very early on video that made you go, "Oh, I think I'm onto something special"?
There was one video that did really well. And it was a tribal print nail tutorial.
Okay.
And it was just like very trendy at the time, and I was really into nail art. That was kind of like, it was makeup and nail art to start before I even started doing hair. And I had this like, I saved up $100 for walking a dog, and I don't even like dogs. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm allergic. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, was there a reason? Like,
yeah,
it's because she's allergic. It's so.
But I'm also like scared of dogs, and the dog was bigger than me.
Okay.
I was like 100 pounds at the time. The dog was like 120.
Oh gosh.
So it was scary.
So like if it went, you were like gone.
Yeah, exactly. And it liked squirrels. So it was
yeah.
But I really wanted a camera. So I was like, I'll walk this dog till I can afford a camera. And I saved up $100, got a little point and shoot. Wow. And it couldn't focus up close. Wow. So I couldn't really do like videos of my nails. So I would have to like do the first step, take a picture, do the next step, take a picture, next one, and then do a voiceover. Wow. So it was like not that good of a video.
Yeah.
But I was able to identify a trend and then do a good job with the nails. The video part, like that needed to be figured out later.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Like, that was a really good, like, strategic video.
Yeah.
But the video that first went viral, which was also like a good strategy, was I was in college. It was my first year of college. Okay. And it was Halloween. Okay. And in every video that I posted, every single one, people commented, "You look like Nicki Minaj." And I
just see it a little bit. Yeah. Back like in then, the face too. Yeah.
My face was rounder back then too. So I really I did. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to lean into this and I'm going to just transform
full Nicki.
into Nicki. Yeah.
Yeah. And you and I both know the Barbs are like one of the most dedicated fan bases. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first video that went viral, and I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to do well, but like not go viral.
Yeah.
But that was a crazy feeling. And
you were on campus during that time?
Yeah, it was my freshman year of college. Yeah. And so yeah, all of high school really like that was pretty like low views. But this was like, okay, I'm onto something. Yeah. And I can get a lot of views. Yeah. I just gotta keep posting and coming up with good ideas. Yeah. So that was also very motivating.
Absolutely. Again, kudos to you, because like a lot of people, when they see a obstacle, they just stop, right? Yeah. Where you found opportunity for growth, for learning, the fact that like you said that it couldn't focus, so like you're taking picture and all of those certain things. That's just insane, like in the kindest way possible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I feel like you kind of have to be a little bit. insane, a little bit insatiable for this craft to get to the level that you are at now. When you look back at those years, and then we'll transition to kind of the main topic I definitely want to talk to you about. But when you look back at those years, are there like anything you would tell your younger self in like those moments of doubt, like, you know, to people who are going through it right now, right, that are posting, you know, not really seeing the return they want. You know, they don't have the right camera, they don't have the right equipment, they don't have the community support yet. You said your parents, you know, told you no at the beginning, but you did it anyway because you believed in it. You know, to those people who are currently in your shoes then, what would you say to them?
I would say 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Post it anyways.
Okay.
And I'll get back to that one. That's very important.
Okay.
Consistency is key.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most important part of growing an audience is consistency. You could have lower quality videos than someone who posts like 3 times a year, but you'll get more followers and more engagement because you're constantly in front of people and they get used to you and then they like see you as a friend.
Yes.
And I forgot the third one. But I got it.
There you go.
Upgrade when you can. And that's
key.
Yeah, exactly. So after I got the point and shoot and I realized like all the things that I wanted to change about the camera, I researched what camera I wanted next. And then I spent a while saving up for that. And during that I was experimenting with lighting and like getting a flood lamp, getting a regular lamp, maybe getting like a ring light eventually. And I just kept upgrading and upgrading whenever I could. So I'm like reinvesting into myself. And that made a huge difference. Like you look at my videos now compared to my first video, like it's crazy. That's like, it was like 5 levels of camera upgrades.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, it is. I love like shopping for tech.
So you became a little bit of like a techie throughout this process. You're like, okay, bit. Like this one has like these specs and this quality, right?
Yeah.
You got to be a nerd about this to really, you know, make it work. I definitely am curious, where did the name or brand of Offbeat Look stem from? Do you mind if I tell you kind of what it represents to me a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
To me, when I hear Offbeat Look, I think, you know, there's a set path that people want us to look and present ourselves with, right? You know, they want us to fit a certain mold.
Yeah.
And when I hear Offbeat Look, I hear, you know, like off the beaten path.
Yeah.
You know, literally like just the look of being your authentic self, but, you know, off the beaten path of what others may see as socially acceptable.
Exactly.
That's what I hear. What does it mean to you, and how did that name come to be?
I feel like it's exactly what you said.
Okay.
I wanted something that was like different, eclectic, like authentic, something that like a word that meant being yourself and not necessarily like conforming. And then the look part is like, because I'm, you know, serving looks. You know?
Right.
So I think I used like a synonym website, and I was like just typing in words. I was like, what makes sense and what sounds good for like what I'm trying to tell people. And offbeat was one of them. And I was like, you know, I have never really considered that word that much, but it's the perfect word to describe what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
And I don't know, I put it together and I was like, that's kind of a good username.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went with it, and it just like has a good ring to it now. And I'm really glad that I chose that, because that was not my first username. We're not going to go into that.
Yeah. We won't. But no, it just, it's powerful. Like in its statement, it's also purposeful. And I, you know, here I am singing your praises again. It's just to have such purpose and dedication and, you know, direction at such a young age to get to where you are today is, astounding. You know, like honestly, you even down to the name, right? Like Offbeat Look. means something, it resonates something, but it's also something you grew into, right? The people get so caught up on trying to find like the perfect name or the perfect angle and all this sort of stuff. What I'm learning from you today is that it's really about just going for it, just doing it anyway, doing what makes you happy and figuring it out along the way. It doesn't matter if you have the perfect lighting. It doesn't matter if you haven't figured out the software yet. It's just I guess it really doesn't even matter if your parents don't want you to do it.
No, not really.
On that topic, I'm assuming your parents support you now, though.
Yeah,
do they see the vision now, or
they definitely do. But for the first like many years, they were like, "Oh, you're kind of wasting your time, and like, why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
But then as soon as
their words now, they're like, okay,
yeah, and then,
I'm sorry, Camille. Like,
as soon as I started doing it full time too, they just really respected it, and it's a very opposite reaction from what they had in the beginning. But I appreciate it that they're now supportive.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, I would definitely love to touch on that topic a little bit, because I think a lot of people, they look for the support of their parents. I know for me, it's something I looked for very early on in my career.
Yeah.
And like you, my parents were very much so, you need to follow this path. I need you to, it comes from a place of fear, right? They want their kids to, I guess, quote unquote, do better than what they did.
Yeah.
So I understand as I got older, but definitely as a kid, it's like I just want my parents to support me. I want them to understand. So like, how did it impact you that early on your parents didn't really resonate with what you were doing? Did that bother you, or did you feel like a sense of not resentment, but a sense of oh, I'll show you one day? Was there a sense of gratification once it finally started to work? How was that dynamic?
It didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I don't really look to my parents for approval.
Okay.
And I think it's really just about how I feel. And
Beautiful, yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I think not really looking for outside approval is what really helped and still helps now.
Yes.
So I kind of just do my own thing.
Absolutely.
Whatever I feel is authentic, and then if people are commenting that they hate it, they hate it, that's fine.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But now that they're supportive, it's it's nice, but I still don't need that.
There's not a sense of oh, I told you so, none of that, because you are self-belief. You have a self-determination, so it's more so I proved it to myself.
Exactly.
You just caught up eventually.
Yeah.
Right. That's beautiful, because like I said, a lot of people, they look for that outside, not gratification, but approval.
Yeah.
To be is this okay? Is it okay if I present myself this way? And parents kind of start that. So for you to be just, again, so formidable and this is who I am, and I'm unwavering, I'm unchanging. I just think that resonates for a lot of people, and is honestly a perfect segue to the crux of this conversation, because one of the most viral videos you've posted, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe you've surpassed since then, right?
Yeah.
But one of the most viral videos you posted was a video where you ended up dyeing, your armpit hair, and that can create a lot of divisiveness.
Yeah.
And scrolling through that video, I loved it, by the way.
Thank you.
Scrolling through that video, there's just a lot of vitriol, actually straight up hate comments. Yeah. Actually, how do you parse that? How did that affect your mental? How did that impact you? Because at that scale, a couple hate comments here or there, but people were really really trying to attack. They were really, and you're on multiple platforms, so there was nowhere to hide. So how did you handle that level of exposure and people coming for your character and all this? How did you handle that?
Yeah, it actually didn't bother me
Really?
at all. And right now, this is like my 16th year of making
Mm-hmm.
videos. So at this point, like hate comments, I kind of like when they comment because it
Okay.
boosts me in the algorithm.
Okay.
And I don't take anything personally because it's
Mhm.
like, I am not looking to this like person for beauty advice or like
No.
whatever. So I don't even know them. And
Mhm.
I know a lot of people stigmatize body hair,
Mhm.
which is so weird to me
Mhm.
because it's just natural.
It is.
And you think about like guys, they'll
Mhm.
always have armpit hair pretty much. And like
Yeah.
and it's like no one says anything about that.
Mhm.
But as soon as a woman has it,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, that's gross," and
Mhm.
like you should shave and like
Mhm.
razor emoji. And at one point the comments, you know how it has like suggested comments and emojis?
Yes, it does.
It was razor emojis because so many people were commenting the razor emoji.
Oh
But
gosh.
it really just like it doesn't impact me at all because I
Mhm.
started so young
Mhm.
and like I knew what I was getting into.
Mhm.
I remember like my first hate comment,
Mhm.
I was waiting on it because I
Mhm.
was like, okay, like I'm making these videos, I've been making them for a while.
Yes.
When am I gonna get hate? And
Yeah.
I finally got one. I was like, yes, I
You
made
look at
it.
it like
I
a yeah.
made it. Like people care enough to like go
Mhm.
out of their way and comment and whatever. And like your haters are just like they're still watching you
Yeah.
and they're still kind of supporting
Yeah, in a
you by
way. Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, right?
So I mean like I truly feel nothing when I get hate comments,
Mhm.
but I think new creators,
Mhm.
that's something that you have to get used to.
Mhm.
But like you just have to remember that you're not looking to those
Mhm.
randos that have no profile picture and
Mhm.
hate women for
Yeah, for
like advice and approval.
yeah, right, right. Well, it's not to get on my soapbox for a second, but it's like when I see people give like relationship advice, but
Yeah.
like they've never been married or in a long term relationship.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, why? How are you telling me to live in like my masculinity with my wife?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I posted a video of, Aria painting my nails, and
Mm.
there were just like mad people, just like, well, he's secretly in the closet, like, da, da, da. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's literally my wife, like,
Yeah.
painting my nails. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I really don't need you to tell me who I am or how I need to be. Um, you know, one of the questions I definitely do have is you have a lot of ideas and you're very purposeful with what you do, like I said, with down to the name, right?
Yeah.
Where where did the idea of painting the armpit hair come from? Was it with the intended purpose to raise that level of awareness? Or was it like a different purpose? You just thought it was like just cool and it just so happened to mean something bigger.
Yeah, I think originally the idea just came from, oh, there's other hair to dye.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do, I dye hair.
Yes.
But I thought about it too, and I was like, I feel like some people are going to hate this,
Mm-hmm.
but that's none of my business.
Yes.
And I did it first during COVID, so it was like years before this
Yeah.
one, and people had good feedback.
Mhm.
And then I did
Did
it
it
later,
again.
and everyone hated it. But I do get a bunch of comments here and there where people are like, thank you so much for making this video.
Yeah.
I've been so like under pressure to
Mhm.
never have body hair,
Mhm.
and I now feel like I can just be natural and not like hate my body.
Yeah.
And I can like accept myself,
Mhm.
and they feel more comfortable with
Mhm.
just being themselves
Mhm.
or being expressive.
Mhm.
And that means everything to me.
Yeah.
That's like why I keep going, because
Yeah.
people are actually genuinely inspired to be themselves.
Mhm.
And I like there's nothing like the feeling of getting that kind of comment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure you feel like a sense of like responsibility and duty, to your audience and to your people because how much your form of art has elevated and impacted them. I guess my question would be early on, it was very self motivated, right?
Yeah.
Self determination. As the audience has grown and you have people that really do care about what you represent, what you do, and what you bring to the table, is that like a secondary motivator to you? Like you feel like this sense of responsibility and duty to continue to uplift people within the community who might be shameful of their body hair, their image, anything like that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a motivator
Mhm.
because I've seen that throughout the years, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I have to keep going.
Yeah.
And I started posting on Snapchat, which has
Mhm.
a younger audience.
Mhm.
So I was like, I haven't reached this audience,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are like unsure of
Mhm.
themselves and like haven't really like become who
Mhm.
they are.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of comments from younger people
Mhm.
now
Mhm.
saying like similar things. So
Mhm.
I was like, that's so important to
Yeah.
me. And if it's helping other people, like I'm gonna be there to do that.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I make my videos the way that I do.
Okay.
I'm like really careful about what message I'm sending
Yes.
and stuff like I won't edit my body on Instagram
Mhm.
because I want people to have like real ideas of like
Mhm.
what a body
Mhm.
looks like.
Yeah.
And that's something that has caused a lot of like negativity,
Mhm.
especially in like teenagers, like
Mhm.
seeing people's bodies thinking that it's real,
That's
but
what.
it's edited.
Yeah.
So I'm like very careful about
Mhm.
how I present myself,
Mhm.
and my videos are both educational and entertaining. So I
Yes.
want these kids to have fun,
Yes.
but I also want to like help.
Mhm.
And then the last thing is like inspiring.
Mhm.
Like I just want people to be able to be themselves. And
Yeah.
a lot of people will comment that on my videos that they've come into themselves. They've like
Mhm.
decided to finally dye their hair because they were scared of doing it,
Mhm.
or just like stuff like that, like the armpit video, like they're
Yeah.
growing out their armpit hair now.
Yeah.
So that, and then like meeting people like randomly on the street.
Mhm.
They'll tell me that they've been watching since they were a kid, and like that's how they
That's
like
awesome.
they always reference the same video.
Which one?
It's the half and half yogurt hair, bright pink.
Your
And
iconic
bright,
one. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So every time, like maybe 60% of the time that I run into a viewer in
Mhm.
person, they're like, "Oh my god, that video. Like
Mhm.
I loved it. I dyed my hair. I followed it.
Mhm.
I like that video is 10 years old.
And then people still
Still
reference it.
reference it."
That is so cool.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, this is making an impact
Yeah.
clearly.
Yes.
So I'm just going to keep going with it.
Absolutely. Don't change anything about yourself. I think everything you represent is absolutely just amazing and incredibly important. I have younger siblings. I have a younger sister, and one of the things I struggle with from a male perspective is how do I ensure that she feels empowered and beautiful to be herself, with all these outside influences. So I guess like as you're reaching these younger audiences, like what would you say to them as they're going through it, like not necessarily like through video, you show it through art, but if you were to have a sit down conversation with like a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old that is going through that sort of body dysmorphia that's caused by the way society platforms itself, like what would you tell them?
That's a very like hard thing to do, is convince a kid
Hmm.
that they're beautiful and
Hmm.
like they shouldn't change who they are and they shouldn't like fold under pressure of like
Hmm.
how to look or how to act,
Hmm.
because I feel like it's so embedded in society.
Hmm.
But I think having an example of
Yeah.
how that looks
Hmm.
is a good way to show them
Hmm.
and like prove that you can do what you want to do and still thrive in life. And
Hmm.
I think one thing that a lot of people haven't seen, like
Hmm.
especially back then, is
Hmm.
like an alt black person. There
Very,
weren't.
there weren't. Well, just to jump on my soapbox for a second again,
Yeah.
like there weren't at all. At least there wasn't as much representation. It
Yeah.
existed, but there wasn't much outside representation. Where I know for me, especially being in a predominantly white area, there was like you must act black, right? You
Mhm.
can't like alt music. That's white boy music, right?
Yeah.
Like so. There's even like a racial component to this that you're adding to the conversation, which sorry, I just had to jump in on that because it's like I'm passionate about that topic too. So
Yeah.
like again, like you being a representative of that is amazing. Is
Thank you.
amazing.
You too. You're a representation of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of, like you feel like you can't do
Hmm.
that. Especially, I mean, you think about hair and you're
Yeah.
like, there were no like curly hair dye videos, and hair dye is a
Mhm.
big part of like emo
Yes,
scene, like
yes, it
all.
is.
So, I mean, like, you just need to see that on someone
Hmm.
else and be
Hmm.
like, Oh my gosh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And I really do appreciate literally everything you represent. You are a ball of just everything the world I think needs at this time.
It's too much.
Sorry, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this world struggles with authenticity.
Yeah.
It struggles in an age where, you know, we're being told exactly how we need to live, need to do, need to even interpret information. People can even have different ideas.
Yeah.
You have remained unwavering from the very beginning, and I see you continuing that throughout.
Absolutely.
So congrats to you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we end the conversation, what's coming up next for you? Do you got anything coming down the line? You know, I don't know if you can share ideas. If it's top secret.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys.
Yeah.
Just don't tell anyone else. But I've always wanted to have my own hair dye line.
Oh, wow.
Because I've tried every hair dye, all the brands. I know which ones are not pigmented enough, what doesn't stay, like what changes I would make to each line. So I'm working on creating the perfect hair dye.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's a passion project, so it's been in the works for a long time now.
You can test it on me if you need to.
Absolutely. I would love to. I'll test it on other hair first to make sure it's good. And then you can be a guinea pig. But I'm not going to release it until it's perfect. And I have no rush to do that. So that's one thing I've been working on. And it's coming together. The packaging is really cute. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm also working on a jewelry collection.
Beautiful.
So stuff like this. I really like, I only wear fine jewelry because I'm allergic to metals. But then I want something interesting.
Yes.
And there aren't that many interesting pieces that are also fine jewelry. And that's just a gap in the market. People want interesting stuff. So I'm working with a small jeweler to make a little collection that represents me and what like my followers would want and what people are searching for but can't find. So I think it's just like, it's about finding a gap in the market and doing stuff that you genuinely love.
Absolutely. And where can, if they don't know you already, where can people find you?
I'm at Offbeat Look on everything except for Snapchat. I'm Offbeat Look because someone took it.
Oh gosh. Thank you so much, Camille, for joining us, for being part of the very first episode. You know, working out the kinks with me. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation just as much as I.
I had a great time. I could have gone for 12 hours like our hair session.
Well, you know, I know we're meeting on Tuesday, so like we'll have more yap sessions. Absolutely. But this has been Knowte with Elevated Wellness, presented by Stellar Connect. And we will talk soon. See you in the next episode. Love y'all.